Milani is out with some new liquid blushes. The new Cheek Kiss Liquid Blush and Glow combines blush and highlighter into buildable, blendable hybrid formula with a soft focus kiss of luminous color. With a cushion applicator dispenses product evenly for $12.99 in 6 shades. We have Cafe, Canela, Dolce Pink, Luminoso, Peach, Pink Cava, and Rosalia. And I thought these actually looked really pretty. I'm looking at arm swatches right now, and I'm not sure what shade it is, if it's Canela or Cafe. It looks really beautiful. I think it's the shade Cafe, but I'm not like 100% sure. It could also be Luminoso. It looks really, really pretty. I don't know that I've actually ever tried anything from Milani, not because I'm like anti-Milani or whatever. I don't think I've ever tried anything from them. I don't think this will be my first purchase from them. I never even did that baked blush that everyone really lost their mind over years ago. Is it Luminoso? Luminoso is the shade of that. It's now in a liquid blush form. I see you. I see you. Ooh. Oh. I see you. But I think these are really pretty. What a subtle release going into the fall months. I like it, Milani. I like what you're up to. I like what you're about. At least as far as this goes. While I was pulling for this Critical Sass, I was like, people are really talking about Christmas time already. And I know that they kind of for like the past couple of weeks, and that's also why Critical Sass is happening twice a month now. But whoo, baby, I like wasn't ready. NARS showed their holiday collection and they're releasing a ton of stuff, but they have a cheek palette and it has 5 shades instead of 6. Like it usually does. And I'm not really sure how I feel about that. And then they released 2 single blushes and they're spotlight blushes. I don't understand those 2. If you're going to release 2 shades, I don't understand. I'm guessing they're like highlighting blushes just based on like the name of them. So maybe they're really sheer. But whew, those 2. And then there's a highlighter and then I think a single eyeshadow. My goodness gracious, there's so many things and it looks like all of the stuff that NARS always releases every time we do this. There's always this. It's just this and then this is what it is and then we have it and then this is what we do and this is a NARS collection. I think the cheek palette is boring as I normally do. It has a highlighter in it this year, which I'm not sure it always has a highlighter in it. So I guess that is something. And perhaps that is a baked bronzer. It's a hard pass from me, NARS, but you got to really keep your guard up as we head into the holiday season because you never know. You never know what someone's going to do that's going to grab you, but I'm safe. You didn't do anything interesting. Normally I would go into a tirade about face palettes and how they don't work on everyone, but like, I think NARS made it very clear that they had zero intention of doing that this year. And I know they have zero intention of doing that every year, but my God, this year they were like, we're not even going to pretend. Here you go. Here's what we're doing. Lisa Eldridge is back with some new releases. I heard that she discontinued some things and that made people very angry. Don't know a lot about Lisa Eldridge's makeup line. I've tried the skin tint and that's it. So I don't know much about her. I don't watch her content. I'm happy for you if you do. I love if you're a Lisa stan. Love that for you, but it's not for me. But let's take a look at what she's released. So there's a new eyeshadow palette. It's the Fawn eyeshadow palette. Retails for £49. And then we also have the Liquid Silk eyeshadows, which come in 5 shades. I have heard good things about their Liquid Lyrics eyeshadows. I've heard that people that don't really even like liquid shadows tend to like those. So that's promising. I'm not sure how I feel about a matte liquid shadow. I think from technique wise for me, I think that it would just be a learning curve. I don't mind getting sparkle everywhere, but I think controlling where the matte shadow is going is something that I'm not sure I have the skill for because I don't work with liquid shadows a lot either. So I'm not sure how much I would like these. Every liquid shadow I've ever used, including sparkly ones, have always not held up very well on my eyes, like in a very speedy way. And I always think that because they're like liquid and they kind of like put like a whole, I don't know, it doesn't wear off like powder eyeshadow does unless it has like a powder finish. So I'm curious about these. I'm sure other people will review them. I do think the cool mauve gray shade is really beautiful. And I thought it was a lip gloss at first. And I was like, oh, I'm going to buy that lip gloss. It's not a lip gloss, it's an eyeshadow. So hate that. Love the colorways we're doing here. I think that the eyeshadow palette is really beautiful. I'm really attracted to the top right shade. I think it's called White Tie. It is very gorgeous. It looks gorgeous and sparkly. I'm not as interested in the other sparkle shade. And then we have browns, some browns, and it's not a black, but it looks like a very, very deep deep brown. I think it's a well done palette. I think it'll be a popular palette. I think that that's a very approachable color story. It looks like every other eyeshadow that comes out in like the mainstream market. Like it's Divine Rose, you know, it's all of those things. It's I Need a Nude. It could be it's all of those eyeshadow palettes, you know. I don't think she's reinventing the wheel here. My understanding of like what Lisa does is like kind of really good classic formulas. Hey Lisa, girl, if you're here, if you release a lip gloss in that cool mauve gray color, I will buy it from you. I don't know if I'll buy the eyeshadow from you, but I would buy the lip gloss from you. I don't even know if your lip gloss formula is good or raved about, but I would buy that. Gorgeous, stunning. I think all around a good extension of what she's already doing. So can't really complain. It does not make me want to buy it. It doesn't really make me want to buy into what Lisa Eldridge is doing. So it's failed in that way, but it has not failed, I think. I think a lot of people who are already her target market will really like it. But also, if you are her target market and you buy a lot of her stuff, just make sure you're not like overlapping on colors, which this would be really easy to do with this collection. If any of you end up trying the liquid eyeshadow formula, report back to me. Would love to hear more about those. Isamaya? What is going on? Like, what is going on? Like, what is going on? What has happened to Isamaya's brand? L-O-S-T, capital L, Lost. I do not know what they are doing. I think they don't know what they're doing. So they have done a collab with Lashify. And this is the Control Kit Eyelash Extension Kit. It's a DIY eyelash extension kit designed in ultralight segments to be applied underneath your natural lash. $142. It's a 2 gossamer lash set, dual-sided whisper light bond with micro flex waterproof sealer. Classic Fuse Control Wand. So I think these are like semi-permanent lashes. I don't think that they are like one and done kind of wears. Like I think you're supposed to like leave them on for a bit. And I don't know what Lashify does. I'm assuming that this is what Lashify does normally. And then Isamaya rolled in and said, what if we made like really weirdly shaped lash extensions? Which I think this is like cool in theory. Something you run into is like, I think that this would be like fun to try. I do. I think it would be like fun to try. I think the shape of the lashes are kind of cool. I don't really mess with lashes. You've seen me spend some money on some stupid things on this makeup channel, and I know. But for something I'm not sure about, and I'm not sure the longevity on, $142 is a really high buy-in for something like I'm not sure I'm gonna like or is gonna work very well for me. Like that's just too high of a buy-in for like whatever this is. Maybe like Isamaya is pivoting to like some kind of like lifestyle, not lifestyle brand, but like I guess this would be considered like in the realm of makeup. It does seem like she is pivoting into like less makeup and just junk. With like the face gym and now this, it's like, what are we doing? And the thing is, despite my cries about the brand being lost and confused, there are people out there who love this brand, will slide up into my comments and defend this brand tooth and nail, and good for her. What has she done for me lately? I have complained about Isamaya, you know, doing broad strokes. I think that the Wild Horse palette or whatever it was called was like more of a broad stroke, and I did come at her sideways for that. So I will say like this feels like more organic to what the brand is doing, but like I don't know who asked for this. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. It seems like we're lost. I'm over here. I mean, I don't know. I probably wouldn't buy much from Isamaya going forward. There'd have to be really special. I know she can do it because she has done it, but we haven't seen it in a couple of years now. I apologize for my voice. I have lost it. It is not with us currently, but I did find this while I was looking for images. It does look like you can just buy the refills of the eyelashes. I'm not really sure how this system works. So it does seem like there is a cheaper way than the, you know, altogether full packaging that Isamaya has sold. In case you were interested in this, but you didn't want to like buy the whole thing, there is like a less expensive way to do it, but I think you need to have like the adhesive already in order to do that. So there's that for you. Danessa Myricks has revealed the new Lightwork 6 palette. It is the Freedom palette. Features 18 shades and 9 finishes in 3 curated color stories that can be used all over the eyes, face, and lips. With spectral packaging, it's magnetic stackable package that can be unpacked and stacked and taken on the go in leather palette to go bag, $128. My friend Darren, Mix Darren on Instagram, and also hosts the Turning Looks podcast, which I will be on either next week. I just recorded an episode with them. They sent me Morgan. God, she's a big YouTuber. Morgan. They sent me one of her TikToks. So I'm just going to play that so we can have more of an idea. I actually saw this. I saw this and I was like, okay, this gives me a little more context. And I think it's important. So let's look at it.
Look at all the things this palette packaging can do. Big 18 pan palette. Okay, nothing out of the ordinary. Removable mirror. Put a pin on this. Fully removable magnetic top. Cool. Removable color families. Cool. Each shade is also easily removable. Makes it really great to mix and match. Remember the mirror? You have a little mini palette to go. Or you can bring all 18 shades with you. It went from this to this. The palette also comes with this pouch that fits the mini palette, and it's metal, so the palette and magnets will never come apart. The entire back of this palette, magnetic. If you want to bring more colors with you, take pans from any palette. They stick right on there. So you can put any colors you want in this palette with these shades, or not. Danessa!
You know what's so funny is that I know that I could edit this, and I just had that moment. I was like, okay, they're going to take a minute to watch that. I'm going to go take a sip. I really was like, I could just edit all of this out. I feel like I have to leave it in now to tell you, but I did just stop and go, okay, they're watching the video. I'm just here. I think before we talk about this palette, let's talk about my bias first. I'm not, in general, not very pleased with this brand, with the way they handled the Pride stuff. I probably will not, unless I see behaviors in the future that make me change my mind. I'm probably not going to buy from this brand. That does not mean that I'm telling you not to buy from this brand. You can do whatever you want with your money. That's your money. That's your prerogative, what you spend your money on and where it goes. And I'm not even saying that I think Danessa is a bad person or anyone at that company is a bad person. I just think they handled that poorly. But it was also like the third year in a row where they did the same exact thing and the same exact problem happened. And I'm over it, right? Like, get it together. Like, I can't handle that. Like, I don't like it. So I'm already biased against them. And second thing, my other bias against them is there's not been a Danessa Myricks product I really like. I feel like I would go at bat for. I did try the skin tint and I thought it was pretty good, but then I didn't really use it for very long until the Danessa stuff happened during Pride. And I was like, I don't need it, pass it on along. So that's where I'm coming at this from. So we're already like -2 when I come into talking about Danessa Myricks, but this gives me the vibe. It's like Danessa selling people at Sephora the idea of what a lot of people who are already into this kind of thing already know about. It's a magnetic palette, 3 magnetic palettes on the inside, single shadows that can be arranged, but they already are prearranged into a color show, but you can rearrange them. I believe that the size of those pans is the same size of the putty pans in the 2 other eyeshadow palettes that she released, but not the skinny ones. And then I guess they're magnetic, they stack. And then the mirror on the top is the lid to the stack packaging. It's a little confusing how they're trying to sell you that it is like smaller to stack them, but it still takes up the same amount of volume. You know, it is a different size, but it's still the same amount of space. It's just taking up that space in a different way. Also, I think the choice of going with the magnet, like the stack packaging, is a bad idea. Especially with like single shadows being in them, like things that are in their own pans. I just see that going awry. Now, I understand that the bag is kind of supposed to keep them all together, but isn't the beauty of being able to make one 6-pan palette of your favorite shadows from this to take it on the go? I would never throw one of those like slidey magnetic packaging, like where, you know, like a clasp, it does seem harder to open. It's instead of like the whole top thing just being able to be pushed off. I just think that that is a mistake. I'm not 100% sure if the pan sizes that she uses in the 6-pan situations, like so the bigger things that have this, it's like there's a lot happening here, and I feel like she made it more confusing than it had to be. Actually, I know what a magnetic palette is. Looking at it all together, I actually think we are overcomplicated it. It's like when a musician is going in to make their second album and they throw all of the production at it, and then when you listen to it, you're like, wait, what happened here? Like this is the physical representation of that. Okay, back to the pan size. There's a couple standard pan sizes most brands use that sell single shadows. There are a couple different sizes of the round ones, but I think most people who use like the rectangle pans use the same size. And I'm wondering if this is that size or if it's a different size. So there would be like some wiggling if you wanted to use the smaller ones. I personally think it would have been more appealing to me if it was just the magnetic palette, or if she did like what Natasha Denona does, where it's like, you know, but the thing about Natasha Denona is she's done that from the starts, even when she only had the big hands in the big palettes that were really expensive. I mean, not that her palettes aren't expensive anymore, but like, you know what I mean? Like that was always part of the Natasha Denona system, is that they were removable. It was giving very pro makeup artist. And I think that's what Danessa was trying to do, but I do think it's gotten a little bit lost in the sauce for me. I don't know. It felt like we really committed for the other. I don't think what was the first Lightwork palette that was like mini circle pans with 3 or 4 big circle pans in the middle? It's like, felt like we committed to that for a bit. And then we said, no, not that anymore. Actually, this is what we're doing now. I think I'm going to withhold my judgment about that. If we continue to build out more palettes with this system, then I think that's okay. But if this is the only time the brand utilizes this system, then I think it's a failure. If like they keep moving on, releasing color stories where you can, I don't know, they sell more 6 pans and you can do, you know, move 1 6 pan in, move 1 6 pan out. I don't know. I think there could be value there, but also you're selling a fantasy that kind of already exists. You can buy magnetic eyeshadow palettes relatively inexpensive. Just the empty palette, pretty inexpensive. And then you can fill it with shades that you like. If you are finding me and you don't know that this world exists out there, there's so many indie brands that like do this kind of thing. You can pick the shades you want. Just buy a couple of the shades you want. I think that 18 eyeshadows, especially like trying to sell 18 special shades, that's too many. I think it would have been smarter if you sold the 6 pan palettes separately and then perhaps the option to buy the empty larger palette to make that system. I don't think that system is very desirable, if I'm being honest. And that's just me. I don't know. I think that it was done to get people excited and talking about it who don't know about like doing it yourself. Back to people who might be new to this idea, there are people online that show you how to depot palettes if you really want to start making customizable palettes. There's so much valuable information on YouTube. If you want to start doing that and you just want to do that with the eyeshadows you already have, go watch that, because that will cost you a lot less. You'll just need to buy an empty magnetic palette, and you might need to buy some things to stick to the back of your eyeshadows because not all pans are magnetic, and you'll be good to go. And you don't need to buy the Danessa Myricks thing. I like it better than the previous versions of the Lightwork palette with the big circular pans. I don't care about this. I feel like Danessa fans are really going to get off to this, but I won't. I'm happy for anyone who is excited about this. It's not me. I don't know. It's not for me. Some people might think they're getting $128 worth of it, but I think that's too expensive. Hourglass. Yeah. So yeah. No, actually, I'm tired of them. I mean, I'm always tired of them. They literally do this every year. Happy to see that we're sticking with 3 different variations. I think this is the ugliest iteration of the rearrangeable color stories that they have done so far. I wouldn't buy this one. Like the jellyfish one, I was really into. I thought that one was really cute. Not so much the inside. I just thought the packaging was really cute. You lost me this year with the packaging. I think the packaging is, the 3 options that they gave, I think are kind of ugly. Very ugly, actually. Just like keep in mind, we're in my 3rd year doing anti-hauls and critical sasses. So like, I'm going to keep it brief, right? I'm going to try to keep it a little bit brief. I don't care about face palettes. It's not just the Hourglass ones. I think Hourglass blushes and bronzers and other ambient lighting powders, all very beautiful products. If you don't already own them, this could be a good way in. I just don't see the point, if you are someone who has as much makeup as me, why you would buy this. There are people who collect these. I don't understand that either. I think I'm past like the makeup collector mentality. Like, you know, I've gotten past that, but I understand if you are a makeup collector like that, if you stop one year, then you stop altogether. And I get that that's not what people want to do. And I don't even want them to throw a big curveball. I don't. I would rather them just something a little bit different. Just anything a little bit different. I want your holiday release to maybe not be an ambient lighting powder thing, like an ambient palette. Like, just not that. It could be a reimagining of anything else in your range, but not like, I just could be any, like, I don't know. I just want to see something that's not this one year. Just one thing. Just I think that's not this. Anyway, I have said it before, you know, they sell minis of most of the shades of their blushes. If not all of them, they sell minis of their bronzers. I would say spend the whatever you want on the shades you want as opposed to getting one of these palettes. The only way it's going to be worth it is if you think you will use every single shade in there. And for most of you, I just don't think that's going to be the truth. Beautiful powders. Again, if you've never tried them, this is like a good way to try them. I would say buying the minis that you want or full sizes of the shades you want. If you know you want those shades, is more worth it than buying these. And I know that these have some exclusive shades in them that aren't in their regular line. I don't think if you're buying any repeats to get that one shade, then it's worth it. Unless you run through powders like I don't. I don't run through powder that quickly. I don't get it. I can't. My brain says no, not this, not this, no more. I don't want to see these anymore. I'm good. Like, aren't you tired of watching people talk about these palettes every year? Like, I am. I'm not going to watch someone review these. Like, from a content watcher's perspective, I don't want to watch that. I don't want to watch that anymore. I've seen it. I saw it last year.
I saw it the year before. I saw it the year before that.
We've just grown accustomed to it. It's just like, all right, Hourglass, back with the $90 fake palette. They're back with the fake. I'm going to show you all the fake. I'm going to tell you, are they worth it? Are they worth it? Just, you can see the thumbnails now. My fucking God. Hopefully by the time I'm editing, I'll see a little bit more of what these are, because I think these launch tomorrow as I'm filming. So About Face is releasing their Blush Rush drops. I have, the image I see is this. So I can't really make out what I'm looking at. If it's going to be a dropper, if it's going to be a doe foot. I'm curious. I probably won't buy one, but like curious. Hello, I'm back to give you my opinion on these. Again, with the shade selection from About Face, just like in their other blush formula, I don't think that any of these are very appealing. And I was looking at some of them on the models on the Ulta website, and not all the colors really registered very well on the models, I didn't think. And that's what's supposed to sell me on it. I wonder how they did these, because they look like they're supposed to be like translucent, but one of the lighter shades on the deeper model really looked quite ashy, and I'm not really sure how they managed that. So this is a pass from me, but I think that About Face continues to do things that make sense, so good for them. Also, I'm about to say something really ridiculous, so enjoy that. Halsey girl, you know, your boyfriend's hot. He's very attractive. I like him. I also like, I mean, I'm not really into your music. Anyway, we don't need to get into it. But I think you're cool, Halsey. All right, finally. I like didn't know about this, like maybe upset. I just like didn't know it was happening. And then all of a sudden everyone had it. And I was like, excuse me? So Amanda over at Makeup Just for Fun did a palette with Fantasy Cosmetica. It's Into the Whispering Woods through a magic portal. Welcome to our enchanted autumn. We're thrilled to announce that we are doing our very first collaboration with Amanda from Makeup Just for Fun. We're so excited to have this amazing opportunity and can't wait for the launch. Amanda has a YouTube video up talking about the inspiration. This was 2 days ago. This is when I started seeing everything. I think Andromeda, like a bunch of people got NPR and I was like, I didn't know she did that. It's like, and that's okay. Like, I didn't need an NPR. I've never tried anything from Fantasy Cosmetica. The looks I have seen people do with this palette have all been gorgeous. Like, so gorgeous. Like, the looks have been gorgeous. I think there's like lip products too. Interesting though, a lot of indie brands are getting into fragrances. Bella Beauté Bar just is about to release a fragrance. I don't have it. Their new palette or their relaunch of this palette is on my eyes today. Let me go look at the name of it. Poison Garden. That's what it's called. Listen, sometimes you get things, you just throw them on your face. Look at this though. Hold on. I know we're talking about Fantasy Cosmetica. You'll probably see some Fantasy Cosmetica stuff in my channel in the future because they're one of the brands that are going to be at this thing I'm going to. So you might see something from them in the future. That's all I'm saying. I've not tried anything from them. I've only heard good things. So we'll see. But whatever I try will absolutely be like the not cool thing by the time. Well, it actually isn't because I think this palette has been out for a couple of years. And I was like, if I could get that one, give me that one, please. And that's it for Critical Sass. So you know what's really nice about doing these a little more regularly is that I don't record for an hour. We were in, we were out, we were sufficient. But if you are new to my channel, hi, thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate you watching all the way to the end. What I like to do on my channel is to help myself and help you be more discerning about the makeup, fragrance, and fashions that we are buying. If you want to stick around for that, hit the subscribe button. The next video on my channel will be the after sass. Everything I talked about in this video, I'll be like, okay, so what do I have in my makeup collection that's like that thing? And then I use it. And then we kiki, we have a little bit of fun, we have a good time. I have channel memberships and a Patreon. If you want to support me over there, you can. It's not a better way to support me, just a different way to support me. But thank you to all my current members and patrons. You're the absolute best. I really appreciate your support. I have in my pinned comment down below a link to help a family in Gaza. If you have the means to do that, I would appreciate you doing that. And that's going to be the end of the video, actually. I'm so congested. That's gonna and I'm so congested. Remember to follow your hope and you'll find me. And I'll see you in a video very soon. Go forth. Tits out.